Hey everybody, welcome to today's show. Welcome to Disabled Reality. I'm your host, Anthony Lorito-Duke, and we have a great topic for today's show. But before I stipulate what that is, I wanted to apologize to all my fans out there that I could not host uh, the episodes of my shows Equality and Rights for All that I host here on Spreaker.com. And yesterday's episode of my show, Advocate Information Highway, that I host on YouTube.com. Because for the past few days, the area that I live in, we've been without power. And we just got the power turned on today. So for like 2, 3 days, we had no power. And um, I'm just getting messages from Con Edison now, you know, the geniuses that they are. And um so um but anyways, that's why I couldn't host my shows yesterday, but I'm hosting this show today. And after I'm done hosting the episode of this show, I will host an episode of my show, Advocate Information Highway, on YouTube. And um so let me first inform you guys what the topic of today's show is. GOP deliberately wanted to screw up the upcoming relief package so Trump can just make an executive order on the upcoming relief package. The GOPs in the United States Senate deliberately sat on the bill that was passed by the Democrats in the House of Representatives for so many months to help with the upcoming relief stimulus package, and the Republicans deliberately, deliberately sat on it for so many months, and then squashed the uh, approved bill that was done in the House of Representatives, and then the GOP in the United States Senate came up with their own bill, and of course the Democrats in the House of Representatives squashed that bill, and then um, McConnell and the GOPs from the Senate said, "Okay, you know what, Democrats in the House of Representatives, you go make a deal with Trump, and we'll just say, okay, whatever, and whatever you guys come up with, we'll just accept that, and that's it." So the Democrats from the House of Representatives met with the Trump administration at the White House, and the Trump administration completely declined everything from the Democrats, and the Democrats, you know, declined everything, everything from the Trump administration, and on a lot of things, and so there's this big separation between them, and Trump and the GOPs wanted this because Trump wanted to make his own executive order and say, this is what's going to be done. He just wanted to do that to make himself look good. It's a political stunt, in other words. And just to say, oh, I got to make myself look good because I look like crap right now. And I have to pull my brain out of my rear end and I have to come up with something good for once. And, you know, because everything else that I do is completely wrong. And so he has to come up with something, and it's a political stunt because of the fact that it's election time, you know. And so he wanted something because otherwise he just looks bad, and he screwed up everything else. So he wanted something, and then um, we got to see what's in this executive order exactly, and because now he just wants to make an executive order. He wants to try to make himself look good. but he really can't. He screwed up everything. He screwed up the economy. He screwed up everything. So, he's probably figuring, hey, listen, if I even get one thing good and, whatever, everybody will praise me and all this other nonsense. So it's a political stunt, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And just to try to make himself look good. So, um, but we got to see everything that's in this executive order because don't forget, um, the economy is not good. It's really not good because the coronavirus has hit many states, and many states had to shut down again. So, 'cause many of them didn't want to listen the first time when people spoke to them because they thought the coronavirus was a hoax because of the orange baboon in the White House. And so many states had to shut down and so on and so forth. And so now they're depending upon this relief package. And let's not forget that Democrats have been fighting for money to go towards state and local governments, that support our 911 responders and stuff like that, and teachers and sanitation workers, and and so on and so forth. And so we got to see within this executive order. And yes, many people have lost their jobs and whatever, so they're depending upon uh, another stimulus check, as what happened like a couple of months ago, as well. You know, um, unemployment benefits is still happen to be still a situation too. Because that ran out. So there's a lot that Congress and the White House still have to work on. And let's not forget one other detail here, ladies and gentlemen. The orange baboon in the White House screwed over the United States Postal Service workers. Okay? He will not give them their relief package that was already approved by Congress months ago. Trump said no unless if the post office raises their prices with Amazon and so on and so forth. That's bullying, ladies and gentlemen. If Congress already passed the approval for the United States Postal Service to get uh well, let's say I think it was $10 million or whatever the amount of money is that was supposed to go towards the United States Postal Service, right? That Trump was supposed to make sure that they get that money. Really, it was already approved by Congress. Come on, seriously. But you want to dangle it over their heads and saying, uh, uh, "I'm your bully. I'm the biggest bully. If you don't do what I want, you're not going to get this." You're screwing them over. You're screwing all the workers from the United States Postal Services. All those federal workers, their families, their livelihoods. You screw them all over. And so, that's not what a true leader does, honestly. You don't do that. And I don't see any Republicans, I don't see any GOPs turning against Trump for doing that. Okay? And, it's just not right. It really isn't. It really isn't. They have lives too. The United States postal workers work very hard under many horrible conditions, really, when they have to deal with all the types of weather and stuff like that. Come on, just give them what's rightfully theirs and get it done. They deserve it. And then, speaking of the post office, the orange baboon in the White House um, made sure that he put one of his cronies, the head of the Postal Service, to really do more damage to the Postal Service, to the post offices. Now, many of them are in jeopardy of shutting down and so on and so forth. And this was a political stunt by Trump and many GOPs to do this because Trump wants to really manipulate the upcoming election when people are doing the mail-in ballots and stuff like that. And so um, it was a political stunt, okay? And to do that, to mess with the United States Postal Service workers, and to try to manipulate the mail-in ballots for the upcoming election in November, that's really not right. It really isn't. I mean, seriously. So I will say this to all my fans out there. Um, in a future episode of Advocate Information Highway, probably next month or whatever, I will be showing people because that show that I host on YouTube, that's video, and I will show people how to properly do mail-in ballots and to uh how to sign off on it correctly now because you also got to sign the envelope and you got to do this early, ladies and gentlemen, and so that way it gives the post office enough time to um get the ballots to its proper location and stuff like that. So because the post office, the head crony, the Trump that Trump put in. Um, he's going to try to slow down postal service and uh, try to manipulate the ballots and stuff like that. Uh, it's all a political stunt from the GOPs, especially from Trump and stuff. So, but the Democrats are aware of this and they're not stupid. So we're taking every precautionary measure. We're going to show people how to do the mail-in ballots correctly and uh, get it out there in enough time and so on and so forth. Because you got to basically request it uh, early so that, kind of like this month in August. So that way, possibly by September, you get the form to fill out and whatever. You gotta get that done, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta start it early enough to give them enough time to get the ballot to its proper location and to get it counted and so on and so forth. Can't wait till the last second to get this done. And yes, I'm sure there's going to be people going to the polls and stuff like that to vote. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen, but some people who maybe cannot make it to the polls, who deserve the right to vote, can have this done. You know, be fair to everybody. And so with that, I wanted to remind everybody that again, after I'm done hosting this episode of this show, Disabled Reality, I will host another episode of my show, Advocate Information Highway, on YouTube. And I also want to remind all my fans out there about my business, my website, which is Advocate Information Highway. And the link to there is awld.com. And you guys can check out all the pages on there. Again, that's awldny.com. And um, please don't forget to go to the donations page and whatever amount of money that you can donate is greatly appreciated. You can check out the blog page. I changed the blog page around and I did it correctly this time. And so with that, take care, everybody. Bye.